kahle namhlanje angazi ngilokho ngifila ngathi singa celebrate. Chokozani ngiyabulisa kini makhehla. Njengoba nifika ngicela nisifake ngengoma yenu nje makhehla please. Bambi igubhu celebration namhlanje. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Kuyi celebration namhlanje. Africa, 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 Africa,
Mlaphikazi.
Andlovukazi, Andlovukazi, Anomkhubulwane, Anomkhubulwane, Angwedi, Antu, Anomdudula, Anokhaya, Anobandla, Alole, hayi ngiyabingelela Mkhulu. Ngibingelela indlovukazi ezinyathele ngoba namhlanje sikhuluma about what izazi say ukuthi is the triple blackness. But the goddess is rising up to come and reconnect abantu back to nature. This is what we are talking about namhlanje. So sibonga indlovukazi nendlovukazi namhlanje birthday yayo. Ndlovukazi. Ndlovukazi. Yes. Hayi siyabonga ukuthi sinedlo zeliphilayo namhlanje esingali celebrate. Siyabonga ndlovukazi. Sibonga nomoya wakho, sibonga nokubekezela kwakho. Siyesithi thina singamadeli ukufa. Whatever happens siyofela endleleni. Manje indlovukazi sibonisile ukuthi in her age usasibona le struggle esibhekene naso ukuthi sisasekhona. So siyabonga nje ukuba khona kwakhe azosikhuthaza emoyeni, azokuba khona kwakhe njalo. Siyakhuthala ukuthi uma kuvuka indlovukazi kulamakhaza izobonga idlozi lesizini mina ngubani. Manje iyasencourage kakhulu. Siyabonga ndlovukazi. Sibonge futhi another celebration. Nayi couple. Babu kuyoshada. Hawu thokozani. Thank you. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi mhlambe ihoneymoon yabo ibe ile ndawo thokozani. Abantu ababeka umoya phambili. Ni example Makhehla ngoba sisebenzela umoya sonke. Once umoya right umzimba then follows. Umoya uyaphila now. Ifana nayo le topic esikhuluma ngayo namhlanje Sekhmet and the winds of change. Remember ukuthi Sekhmet purifies. Meaning ukuthi i-energy le elokho ingcolile to this point etherically Sekhmet is that energy that purifies earth at that etheric level, not on the physical. On the physical unut yingakho ngo-August uthola ukuthi kune dust. Unut now is clearing up, earth uyashanyela so that umvelinqangi uasa meke vela ngi-23 zika September umhlaba ube uclean. Manje uSekhmet ngoba manje siya kuJune. June, remember, is the rebirth for the southern hemisphere. So it means Sekhmet then purifies the etheric layer of earth. Ukuze whatever impurities are there, ziklinele. Yingakho isikhathi esihle lesi sokuthi noma uvuka ekseni, vuka uhabule lo moya. Just to breathe in and out. Uvuka nje, so that you are able to also assist your body. And then asikwazi ukukhuluma ngoSekhmet singakhulumanga ngoImhotep. Singakhulumanga ngobab Credo. Sithi avusa amazulu. Avusa amazulu. Avusa amazulu. Ubab Credo no Imhotep, these are people, I think, in my own view, are manifestations of Sekhmet. Because of his izenzo zabo. What they did, whilst they were still on earth. So manje Imhotep, he was called the Prince of Peace. Is the origins lento mesini thole eBhayibhelini associate namagama associate nepeace. Yinto esuka la ku Imhotep. He was called the Prince of Peace. Mesithi ngesizulu siyathokozisa. Thokozani. Sisho ukuthi be happy. Ibani happy. Nina abantu bomoya. So konje leli impompo bathini khotso. Bathi khotso ne almost all our languages mesibulisana sikhuluma ngale peace. Iba nenjabulo ngaphakathi. Umoya wakho mawujabule. I recognize your spirit, your energy within you. That, what combines us, it's peace and love. Yingakho mesibulisana ke sibulisana ngalendlela. Thokozani. Khotsong. Angazi ke ngale emavendeni bathini. Bathinda. Yahambelana nithi. Ishukti. No.
The God in me recognizes.
Yes. I know siyanamukela. Thokozani Makhehla. Siyabonga menyathela. Kakhulu Makhehla. Nifika nje bese singenile kancane enkulumeni. Sikhuluma ngayo isizini kaSekhmet njengoba indlovukazi ichazile. Sekhmet laba, these are not physical people. But these are principles and energies that are prevalent at this time of the year. So for us to actually go back to nature, we need to understand ukuthi iyini le mimoya. So understanding uSekhmet, we know now how to harness uSekhmet for our own benefit. Lento ukuthi energy manje. Remember ukuthi uSekhmet uye olapha izifo ezinjengale boma COVID. Isikhathi lesi se purification, meaning ukuthi when the etheric body is purified, then the physical body lives and is healthy. Ngoba all illnesses ziqala kuphi emoyeni. Once silapha thina inyanga mekulapha ifuna ukuhlola kuqala emoyeni ukuthi kubopheke kuphi ngoba kumele ukhulule lelo findo kuqala for ukuthi umzimba ulapheke. Ngoba mawudila lento yenziwa iWest badila ngama symptoms, meaning ukuthi bafuna ukuthi wena you must be a perpetual customer, bakunikeza into nje elalisayo lesifo. Kepha thina ngesiAfrika sifuna ukubuza emoyeni kuqala ukuthi konakale kuphi, then sikhulule lapho. Manje ke sinale energy le energy ka Sekhmet. Remember ukuthi Sekhmet is the life force. Everything ephilayo emhlabeni iphila because of the life force. So Sekhmet is that life force. Amandiya asithi kundalini, that is dormant at the end of your spine. That's the origin of the word Sekhmet, Sekhem. That life force. Without that life force, nothing lives on earth. So Sekhmet is that energy that underlines, everything that is being created emhlabeni, and ephilisa yonke into that has been created. Then when you talk about the winds of change in the physical, it's a broad subject. It's a broad subject. Why? Because Lomoya keeps communicating with us. But tina asiwuzwa. Even if siwuzwa Lomoya, we ignore all the signs. Because the signs are there. Kuti change is upon us. Yet are we ready to embrace that change? Huh? Are you ready to embrace that change? That is then becomes the question. But umoya keeps giving us signs ukuthi izinto bezisebenza before, they might not work now and they might not be necessary now. But now tinage, because of comfort, a temporary comfort and warmth that we receive from the physical things, yizo-ke izinto ezenza ukuthi sigcine si-ignore the message. We all know ukuthi lendlela esiphila ngayo i-wrong. Siyakwazi lokho. But manje i-consciousness yethu ayivumelani ne-reality. Ngoba i-reality calls upon us to change. But manje tina, because of, remember ukuthi i-information that shakes the foundation of your belief systems, it creates a confusion in yourself. Ngoba le information uyayizwa, futhi awuyizwa ngendlebe nje yenyama, uyizwa ngendlebe yomoya, ikhuluma egazini le information part, you then end up saying ukuthi no, but this is how I grew up. Ngikhuliswe ngalendlela mina. So manje that shakes the foundation of your belief system. So it change, yingakho ngithi we need to accept change in whatever form. If it means ukuthi we are sometimes umoya unokukuvala izinto ezithize ukuze ubenefite much better on this side. But manje wena ukhalele nje ukuthi why ngiluza. And once ukhalela lokho, you are losing the benefits and the blessings ezikulindile ngapha. Yabona. So our reasoning sometimes, it then becomes a problem. I will then come back also to what is fundamental to us as African people. The governing system. A governing system that we are under. It's been called upon to change. because yonke into life yethu ixhumeke lapho. What governing system governs us? Does that governing system resonate with our nature, with our being? So these are the questions. These are the winds of change that we are talking about. Umoya kusho thina, as we are gathered here, it's like we are going against the tide. 1 million of people are going that way. Tina, we are going against the tide. Why? Because we're trying to reconnect in the nature. So that becomes a very difficult. And that is why we will always remind ourselves, ukuthi ukuze iAfrica ilunge, we need to fix the foundation. I-problem yethu asikwazi ukuyikha sithi, okay, fine. Why? Because we cannot make other sectors of our population uncomfortable. Let us compromise until the end. In that way, we haven't assisted ourselves. We have actually, messed ourselves up. Because we cannot, especially for the benefit, material benefit, isenze ukuthi sithatha ama decisions that are going to affect each generation and generation and generation to come. So that is not a wise thing. Okokuqala, we need, yingakho ngithi kumele lento siyiphahlele sonke. Njengoba silokho siphahla ngale nkathi abo 6 abo 12 abo lentuza, mele sicele lento ukuthi uphondo lweAfrika malivuswe. Makukhulunywa ngophondo lweAfrika kukhulunywa ngani? Kukhulunywa ngobukhosi beAfrika. Manje thina sinokuyi-interpreta ngenye indlela lenkosi sikelele eAfrika. Khona uphumpo. Khona the national anthem le dumela emalokishini. Iyakhuluma leyangoma. Ithi uphondo lweAfrika maluphakanyiswe. Kukhulunywa ngobukhosi and also Ntonga. As much as they were Christians, but they understood ukuthi into yase-Afrika ukuze ilunge kumele sivuse ubukhosi. So once we understand each other on that level, and the umoya keeps demonstrating to us all the time. Look at iseka seyenzakala eParliament. The way thina as African people sibuswa ngakhona, okokuqala mawusondela nje esigodlweni inhlonipho. Automatically ungena lapho. You will never find a situation efana neyase parliament. Makuhlela indlunkulu. Uzwa ngathi last time endlunkulu. Awukwazi ukusukuma ubhede, because that will be the last time you ever stand up endlunkulu ukhuluma. From that day ukhuluma umbhedo endlunkulu, you are banned. You will never attend again. Go and attend, ama meetings endlunkulu la egodlweni uzothola ukuthi kunenhlonipho. Ngoba ubukhosi buhambelana neculture yethu. And the first dictate in our culture inhlonipho. We can't do any other thing without inhlonipho. Because uma singenayo inhlonipho, inhlonipho means you are respecting yourself first, before omunye umuntu, before even the committee lozohlala kuyo. Yingakho ngithe lento engigcizelelayo kakhulu ukuthi mawusendlunkulu, ngazi mina ngasekhaya. Ekhaya masine meeting, angeke usukuma ubhede ungasazi story sakho. You will never be accepted again. Ngeke uphinde bakuvumele nokuthi usondele kulo ndlunkulu. So, hey. Thakaza, ilapho Mlaphikazi. Ilapho. Ungasukumi nje, ukhulume izinto ezingekho. And into engithe kakhulu, which partly motivated i-topic yanamhlanje, is the circus engibone in the Pan-Africanist Parliament. I mean, if we are an African person, we are viewing that. Ukuthi abantu, but drive by ego. It has nothing to do with us. Our interests are driving them to take certain positions, which are serving them, not us. And the Pan-African Parliament, a reflection of what happens in the parliament all over Africa. So for me, that is not the governing system. That resonates with the Schumann frequency, the 7.8, hertz frequency. It doesn't resonate with that because it has no harmony. It doesn't create a resonance. Abantu mele basihlonipha. Masikubeka ukuthi you are a representative yethu. You need to respect us by the way you conduct yourself. Ungayenza izinto nje, just tell yourself ukuthi no, ngiyenza bazongenzani. Anyhow, they've elected me in this position, they are not going to remove me. And the second thing, ebuhlungu ngale parliament. Le parliament le, remember ukuthi even today it's still funded by abelungu. Who funds the Pan-Africanist Parliament? Who funds the AU? It's Europe. Manje, how can a body that is, purposed to represent us, but is funded by the former colonizer? What does that say about that body? It's messed up. Manje uzokhuluma ngelento lapha kwaZondo bathi yini? Bathi we separate for yini? Le commission yawaZondo. State capture. I mean, we are long captured. What's the point of forming Guayona Zondo Commission when we are captured already? And the Labour Band who have captured us as Mabizi, Siabasaba. The European Union is responsible for millions of black people. Death, lie Africa. But who calls for that? Ubani, Belgium, just look at what they did to Congo. Who calls for that justice? Nobody, because kufabanda bamnyama. Manje ungitshele ukuthi uzositshela ukuthi uyashintsha yini lo ushintshayo. Enye into, how can you let Egypt enslave our spirituality center? How can they occupy our spiritual center as African people? And when kube ngathi there's nothing wrong because kuvalwa umuntu omnyama. This is the attitude that we need to deal with. Lendo yok compromise to a point ukuthi you are messing up generations and generations to come. Ama Arab nama Juda won't allow you to trash their spiritual places. Why, Tina, the whole world feels ukuthi it's okay to do as they please. Ngama Africa. I mean, it's the worst crime. Ukuthi ungivalele from my spiritual center. You occupy my spiritual center so that I'm not able to connect with the natural order of things. When on top of that, magufika your spiritual days, we are flattel, we are meka. So this is the attitude. And sikhuluma about these winds of change because this is what umoya wase Africa demands of us to do. To brave up. And the siyeke kuloko mavaga man. Hey, siloko siyasaba. Zozwethu nene lokusaba. Mawufika vele ba. Uraho Oyarona bapilo setata kopi. Makwala cheche, acheche le murao. Oyarona bapilo setata kopi. Oyarona, oyarona, oyarona bapilo setata kopi. Hey. Oyarona bapilo setata kopi. All right, Mlaphikazi. No, right. Kahle, Africa into the future. Ayifuna makwala. You can't be involved in this revolution if uyikwala. And not only bukwala, also, you can't be involved in this revolution if you are going to be enticed by material things. Remember, Moya always provides for you. If Moya will open another door. You must never stress yourself with challenge. You are in a very difficult. No, Moya uyazi wenza. Ukuthi nje siloko silandela umoya then sizonqoba. Ngoba yinto okumele vele siyenze. So ingakho ngithi some of us all of us here singamadeli kufa. Ngoba we are moving against the tide. Hey, bakubuka njengohlanya. Bathi manje lo muntu lo ungenwe yini? Abanye baze bathi mengizwa ngompho. Bathi umkhulu ufuna ukusilambisa. Upromoter ukuthi we must destroy the RSA, Republic of South Africa. Then le khehla lifuna ukusilambisa. Yabona ukuthi umuntu ocabanga ngesisu, ucabangela manje. Kanti lento esikhulumayo, it's a long-term solution for umuntu omnyama. And thina la GEK, neZMF. These are the only bodies in South Africa that I know that are promoting lento le esiyenzayo. So manje ke singamasotsha angempela omoya. Sithele konke so yinto kumele size encourage ngayo. And nokuthi sinesabelo salento. Otherwise if besingenasabelo okokuqala bonge kuyizwe. Bonge kuzuze nala. If bonga nasabelo salento. So it means ukuthi awuzenzeli wena. It's these winds of change when you have decided to attune to the frequency of your ancestor. And they allow your ancestor and allow your ancestor to fully express through your body. Ilapho Mkhulu. So this is what has happened. Abanye abantu abakayitholi le frequency. Basahleli ku yini le Afrikan radio whatever Basahleli lapho. I-frequency yasemzansi abakayitholi shem. So yiboka abantu laba okumele sibanqenge and be patient with them. Even those that are greedy, that will look at this as not being a place of spiritual revival, but you then see business opportunities. When amawula so calculate ukuthi laba abantu bengayenza kanje. Imiliyoni yalenda manje. Hayi sentandazela shem. Siyathandaza ukuthi nibe right. Uzwa. Isikhathi senu siyeza. Into esinikezwa yona ukuthi sibekezele. That's the only thing. Now la ephehlweni mawuthwasiswa. Ufundiswa yona leyo nokuthi bekezela. Ungajahi idlozi. Kuthi wena so ufuna ukuphuma manje ephehlweni. So uyashiseka uthi hayi ngiyahamba. Yilaba bathi bagcina estrateni. Athi ahamba umuntu ngemoto abona inkomo idlula kanti akunankomo idlulayo lapho. Yilo moya udila ngawe. Uchachile wena mos. Wazikhipha ephehlweni. Ledlozi alikhulanga to the point ukuthi seli-matured. Wena because of your selfish needs. Hayi kuyabanda ngikhumbula ubaby ekhaya. So uyaphuma manje wena ephehlweni. Uyabona? So manje izo zonke lezi zinto lezi I think thina as African people, but ngiyabonga nje ukuthi kunedlanzana not only abantu abazala physically, but there are millions abantu, the whole country who are watching us. Do you understand? Ingakho we must never take anything for granted. Labantu laba who are spending their data to always watch the message, on Sundays. So nabo labo bantu, they've given themselves, bazinikeza ithuba lokuthi bazinikele kulo moya. Mina ngathi ngene ephehlweni ngathi if ngiyafa yile ndlela leyokwenziwa ngayo la ku right ngiyobe ngifela lento enithe ngiyenza. So mele kube njalo, you must you must unikele ngempilo yakho. Remember ukuthi we are wiser now. Energy is not destroyed, can never be destroyed. Umzimba nje okhathalayo. Thola ukuthi amalanga awusabambi, lokho akusabambi, amadola yaxeka. Noma sebekubiza ke una 70 bathi indoda. Sakutshela ukuthi uthwasa una 20. Manje kumele uze la kithi. Asikufuni ungakathwasi. Uzoyenza njani? Amadola usenawo kuyoguqa la. Iyenzeka leyo nto le makhehle, iyenzeka. So all I'm saying ukuthi uma ithuba lisekhona usenamandla, do what you have to do. Ngoba manje remember ukuthi mawufika ngani naye nyinto sizalwa sifumbethe, all of us. And njengoba sifumbethe kanje kahle i-education system yase-Africa is to find out ukuthi wena uze ufumbethe ini. Sithathe lokho sikupolishe. Ube polished ngalento yakho, so that ungazojela selomunye umuntu. The reason why namhlanje abantu bechontshela abanye abantu bejela sela abanye abantu, it's because of this unpolished diamond within them. Engakapolishwa ba realize ukuthi bayini. Uyabona ibhlungu kakhulu ke leyo nto. Mawungakazazi usejele uhamba. Ungaphandle usejele. Ngoba uhamba nje awuzazi ukuthi mina ngilethe leni la emhlabeni. Once you discover that, it's the greatest joy. No money can buy that. Ngoba manje so uyazazi ukuthi mina i-reason why ngila emhlabeni yilo. And lokho mele uku-embrace. Ungaku-sacrifice for any materiality. Because it's easy to do that. Bakubona umuntu ukuthi no wena le diamond lakho ulipolishile, then umuntu aku misdirect so that you are not able to fully realize your potential. So you need to guard against such people as well, because bazoza kuwe wena nje mele wenze into ngoba iyakuphilisa, ikunikeza i-resonance la ngaphakathi. So we need okokuqala nje silungise ukuthi in future, ngoba lento esikhuluma ngayo, we are talking about the future. We know the current situation. Sazi yonke into about the governing system that is oppressing us today. So we need to re-educate ourselves about our own governing system. The governing system that has civilized umhlaba wonke. There wouldn't be any civilization I-Wi-Fi bongeke we understand if it wasn't amakhosi namakhosikazi that started civilization emhlabeni. Bokwa amakhosi namakhosikazi that spearheaded that civilization. It was nakhona the winds of change. Our kokobe to recognize ukuthi it's time for change. Isambulelo salokhu sehla ngoba bebe dependa kulo moya. Oh, lo moya uthi ngithathe lelitshe leli ngili sharpune kanje. Then this will be the result. Ukumamela umoya. Civilization yase-Africa, it's not based on ama-universities. Abantu bahamba bayofunda ema-university. Cha. I-education system yethu was to reconnect you back to nature, then let nature fully express through you. Sibone ngezinto zenzayo ukuthi we are unique. Phethenye i-vibration nje that is unique. Yonke into yenzayo ikhanyisela umuntu, ithandwa abantu. That is what okhokho bethu did. Hey, like abo Imhotep, building that step pyramid. It was moya, sambulelo, divine inspiration that came to Imhotep. He started the whole, masonry. Bonke abantu who are now building with stones, they came together and started coming up with ideas. How can we improve on the technology? So, nathi kulasikhona. Tina, we are affected by these winds of change, but there's nothing we can do manje to actually further surpass our ancestors. Why? Because we have to go back and address decisions that were deferred, not taken at the appropriate time. Sizimoshela isikhathi ngalokho. Instead of saying, oh, Koko, yibaba discover, all the frequencies that are there, which allow us to do Wi-Fi, allow us to do internet, those are things that your ancestors discovered. Mkhulu ngonate. Ukhuluma a principle that is responsible for i-matrix yayo yonke into ephilayo emhlabeni is connected to that principle, because wena manje so discover ama-frequencies that are there in the universe, but uwanikeze the African names. Namhlanje bakutshela nge-Wi-Fi. Tina kudala siyazi lento. Okhokho bethu long knew these things. Okhokho bethu were the first to design a helicopter. Lawa wathola in the US Army today. We are wathola lapha in the pyramids, in the temples, carved on stone. So yonke into yenzwayo yilabantu. It's nothing new. It's just that when you've lost your frequency. And the language khuluma ngayo uyayazi. It's nothing new. Because of genetic memory. Thina siyakukhumbuza nje. We are just stimulating that spark within you. Then umoya wakho ke wehlisa ke isambulelo. Unless uvalekile. We can't help that one. Mawusavalekile usabheke ngapha nangapha, because kuthiwa you can't ngeke ukhothamele amakhosi amabili. Ikhona inkosi okumele isalele emuva. So ingakho ke thina our root of rebirth umoya. Foundation must be umoya. You must never uzuzikhohlise ukuthi wena you are going to move forward nge-ego. Isikhathi se-ego siphelile. The winds of change are upon us. And isikhathi sempi siphelile sidlulile. Kumele silwele umoya manje. Wona lo moya sukhothamela every time siphahla la ngabo 6 ngabo 12. Yiwo lo moya okumele usilwele. hayi ukuthi manje sesiyohluphekisa indlovukazi sesiyitshela nje ukuthi thina we are taking guns, we are going after whatever people. That is not going to happen. Tina, we need to take care of indlovukazi ngoba indlovukazi yizo ezizosiwelisa lo mfula. The more we keep disrespecting our women, our mothers, is the more sihlupheka. Hey, there was a lady la on the social akhuluma ngokuthi feminism, it's not an African thing. It's true. Feminism originated in the US and Europe. When lamadoda belungu were disrespecting their women, those women, revolted. Then it was caught up by women on the continent. Tina, we had Kabai Gacham. Oh, Queen Zinga. Oh, Queen Asantewa. Oh, Mantatis. We never had a problem with being led by women because women gave birth to us. So these are the winds of change, which are dictating. Ukuthi Tina singamadoda, we need to accept ukuthi sekufike isikhathi ukuthi indlovukazi must go back to their positions. This is the time. Hey, remember ukuthi downfall yomuntu omnyama ibe lapho. The day we started disrespecting our women, our mothers, ubabiza magama after they gave birth to you. Umveli ngane turned against you. Because mawudila ngendlovukazi, udila, with the creator itself. The triple blackness. Hey, that is the universal womb. Hey, which mama betu are that microcosm of that universal womb. So, winds of change demands of us to restore a respect. Go mama betu in our partners. So, ukuze vele sifinyelele la siyakhona kumele yizo izinto lezi. I think we need to be ready. For me now, I'm ready to be led by indlovukazi all over. Hey, ngoba mele siyinike chance leyo nto. Hey, simele siyinike chance. Abo Hatshepsut, Queen Hatshepsut, abo Nefetari, abo Nefertiti. They ruled Kemet. And they built, beautiful structures in their era. Ubona ukuthi these people were in power ngempela. There was respect because of the cosmic order. Remember ukuthi our solar system is energized by a star formation called Sirius. And the Sirius star formation is of female nature. So ilanga leli lethu that we think is the male energy is energized by the female. So that is why okhokho bethu had that respect. Ipatriarchy is enabelungu asiyazi thina. Ipatriarchy is enabelungu. Ngoba besibuswa yigodlo and umuntu omkhulu esigodlweni indlovukazi. Inkosi imeli ibike lapha kundlovukazi ukuthi izoyenza kanje. Indlovukazi yiyo phezulu njengala eSwaziland. Hey, inkosi izwa ngendlovukazi. Indlovukazi ithi hayi naku kuso inkosi then goes and implement. So that is the structure okumele sibuye. It's just that a lot of us are not ready for that. Are not ready to embrace these winds of change. And these winds of change are bringing long-term solutions for us. Sikhathele ama piecemeal solutions. Abantu beze ne solution nje so last 6 months. After lokho we are back again to square one. No, we can't, be going forward and back, going for no. Mesiya phambili mele sambe ngendlela ekuyona. Yingakho sikhuluma ngalezinto, because we are preparing for the near future. I'm saying the near future because ukuhlangana kwezulu nomhlaba can happen anytime. Leo must find us ready to actually lead people forward. Kungathi mayiwa lento ngoba izoyiwela. All the evidence is there. Just by looking at the behavior yabantu. As I said, lento yasepapa. Yipapa mpela. I know inhlukumezile lento yasepapa man. Huh? Abantu manje sebeyalwa because manje laba ba dominate kakhulu. Kanjani, how do you think like that as an African body? Because automatically and logically you know Gucci, you need to give yourself a chance. Yile structure that we are proposing ourselves. Ukuthi njengoba we have so many royal houses like that. Mele kubhekwe izindlu. Like of course, kunendlu eyodwa, but under which there are so many surnames. So we look for the great houses. If the great houses are 9 like South Africa, they all sit on top. Baya rotator. Kungena lenkosi, ingena ne prime minister. Kuphuma lenkosi, kuphuma ne prime minister. Bashintsane kanjalo. This is what we are proposing. Manje, if laba bepapa are going to resist that, baze bakhahlelane, what a shame. That man azamu kukhahlela umama in South Africa. I mean, it was so disgusting. Umuntu to be so brave to really go for a lady umkhahlele. Yilento engikhuluma ngayo. We no longer respect the womb. We no longer respect the womb if nesibindi. In an open area nje kugcwele ama-camera. Mina because ngikwatile ngifuna ukukhipha enga yami kuNdlovukazi. Ukudelela kunjani lokho? Manje abantu abanjani abazokubusa wena? This is the type of leadership that you have. So we are tired of such a people and such a behavior. Lezinto zenzakala all the time. I know Guti situation in South Africa. It also goes back to it affects our homes directly as well. These winds of change. Bugani, 194. We understand Guti there was a pressure, I don't know from what quarters. A pressure that resulted Guma leaders etu ba promoter ilenduza the economic situation yabo mama, and that wasn't supposed to happen ngoba nge-apartheid. Yes, mama bagqilazekela more than amadoda, but bokumele makungena a new dispensation kupromotwe both umama nobaba, ngoba manje lento eyenzakele ibulele imindeni yethu. Abantwana no longer have respect for obaba because obaba are not bringing things on the table. Baloko babona mama all the time doing those things. You are destroying a nation when you do that. Yes, baba, kukhona baba bebehlukumeza mama. Siyakwazi lokho. But mina ngazi situation, I've experienced a situation whereby ibhube selingubaba yazi lithanjiswe umama nje usikrala inyanga. Ubaba makengena kule charity uyakhothama. Asazi yini lemenza ukuthi akhothama. Kepha la istrateni ibhubesi lo muntu. Umama uyazi strategy ukuthi lo ngumthinta la uyathamba. Mombona la ngaphakathi endlini. You won't say ukuthi it's the same person bokubhubesi la ngaphandle. Mama had the wisdom how to deal nale anger yo baba bethu. Remember ukuthi le anger sizalwa nayo for generations. our parents experienced this pain. For generations, meaning it's in our DNA. That's why we are so angry. Kancane nje yikho mele sifaka ama-class emotional intelligence. Ngoba sometimes into emotion izinto. Uyazi flare up la kungamelanga flare up ekhona. Mele uyibambe. Ube ne-emotional intelligence ukuthi ngiyakuzwa uyangithuka sharp. Uyemsama uyemguqela. Hey nangu umuntu engithuka. Kanjalo man. Ngoba sometimes that's why ne-road rage. Abantu bagcina bafa. The lack of that emotional intelligence. Umuntu ukudrivisa kabi. So kwatile wena umisa imoto ukhipha imimese ukhipha nawo konke lokho ugcinwa limala lapha. Kanti ngabe wathi sharp wenza kanje sharp. Uhambe ke wenze whatever ufuna ukuyenza but that thing is very important. So ngiyacela mina makhehla ukuthi as we are preparing for a long term a solution for African people, singa rush izinto senze because okay fine it's possible vele it's logical ukuthi abanye abantu are not going to fund us because we are dealing with the roots of our problems. Asifuna ukuyikha phezulu, but lokho doesn't stop us to move ahead because into esibhekene nayo manje is to decolonize umqondo womuntu omnyama, and for that you don't need that much money. Imali izozizela the day we demonstrate unity of black people. The capitalists ngeke bafuna ukusala. They will be calling us. Bese ke siyakhetha ukuthi hayi wena racist too much ngeke sambe nayo. Sithi hayi lo so hamba nalo because so. Sizobe sine choice. Singajahi ukuthi sifuna ukufundwa at all costs. Let us do whatever we can with the little that we have, because the objective yokuqala is to unite black people. Once we can unite black people, all our problems are solved. Sesicabanga as a unit. Mesithi no, akusangeni foreign goods eSoweto. Futhi mele siqale la. Once sashintsha iSoweto then it will be proof that the whole country is ready for this revolution. Kumele siqale la iSoweto. And mesiyenza lento, we must call all of our brothers and sisters from the continent to be involved, because our vision is to go throughout the whole continent, because we are suffering the same ill. So we are not doing things for South Africa kuphela. We are doing things for the rest of the continent. Kuthiwa uma lento ingalunge South Africa, then lapha yonke Africa yonke, they are looking at us as a poison because we are exporting what they are trying to get rid of. Western philosophy. Abantu Africa, but they want to get rid of that. And South Africa is the most, country exporter everything that is Western. So Tina, we need to ukuthi sinyuse everything that is African. Everything esiyenzayo, i-value chain yonke has got to be African. And they're not being apologetic about it. Enye into esiyenzayo sisho ukuthi we are not going to join venture with people. We will join venture with people with a time frame. If it's set up a visa factory like to package mill, USA for the technical and whatever, there is an exit strategy to say in 3-5 years we are hamba. It's written right from the start. So that in 3-5 years, somebody from Lailokshin is able to continue with that. So this is how we are going to move forward. Because most of the resources are still with corporate South Africa, which is dominantly white people. So these are the winds of change, Makesha, that we need to prepare for. I know sometimes it can appear as if lento siyenzayo it's not important. And it's very important. In the scheme of things, remember ukuthi, i-consciousness yabantu towards in nature causes imbalance or imbalance in the cosmos, in the greater scheme of things. Consciousness. If a majority of African people are no longer believing Umvelincane, the sun, as the creator, it means labo bantu bamflathela Umvelincane. That ba create an imbalance kuyo yonke into that has been created by Umvelincane. Because of their consciousness, ba create an imbalance which then affects everything on earth. So lento ye consciousness asiyinto encane. The more uloko ubiza kuthiwa idlozi lithi, the more you say my name, the more you make me live. Kushidlozi ukuthi once umuntu ungasalibiza igama lakhe kusho ukuthi wena somkhohliwe nje akasaphili nokuphila. So what does that do in the bigger scheme of the spiritual cosmic order? Brings imbalance. So meaning ukuthi ukugqilazeka kwemiqondo yethu, we are affecting nature itself. Silokho sikhuluma ngama ozone layer that are caused by the most cause here ozone layer is your consciousness, because that consciousness is linked to Sekhmet, the life force which covers everything. So it means ukuthi consciousness yethu as African people, if it better goes against nature, si create imbobo in that etheric layer. So we don't understand the deeper, meaning yalento siyenzayo. So ingakho we need to re-educate ourselves all the time. Ukuthi sibe conscious. Ifana nani lento, the thoughts that you decide to hold, which then imprint in your subconscious mind. Then uloyiwe. Awuloyiwanga. Ujule ngobu negative. That's why nature letala everything negative. Ujule ngobu negative. Hey. So we need to guard against the thoughts that we allow to imprint on our subconscious mind. This is the change we are talking about. And it takes little. Mawuyizwa nje ukuthi sengicabanga ugogo ngicabanga kabi. Change immediately. Switch immediately. Hey, bona nje ugogo anginikeza ikhambi elingincedisayo. Huh? Hey, because now we are creating harmony. Hey, and you switch immediately. Our thoughts, you can't control the thoughts. They're bombarded all the time. But it's your decision. Whether we are in khona abantu abanesiphini bayithanda. Ukuthi hayi no lo muntu ungenze kanje. Ajule kuyo man for a week. Uhleli kulento ukuthi hey lo muntu lo ungenze kabi. Change your thought man, then yonke into izokhululeka. Manje ufuna lokho sikuzwe uyazi ufuna uzwelo. Sometimes mina ngibusy man nya align man. I'm creating something in my mind. Wena because ujwayele ukuthi unespain. So uzakimi uzongafecta. So we should guard against such people. Bakhona abantu abanjalo shem. Sibacelele ku Sekhmet ukuthi aba purify emqondweni. Purify their minds. Hey, because the more, remember ukuthi your subconscious mind, subconscious mind yakho lives in the causal plane. Your subconscious lives in the causal plane. Yingakho uthola isambulelo. And isambulelo esikhathini esiningi ngeke uthole isambulelo nje sento embi. Isambulelo is always constructive and it's always positive. It's how when you then apply. Whether you apply a lento itolile for negative or positive, it's up to you. And the thina singendawo lapha. Ngoba mawushona, uanpukumemeza usasele. Athi wena uzifihle phakathi ngoba hayi wena woza la. Ukusa kuphi to that scale. Your heart is going to be judged against the feather of my heart. Ukuthi bowujula ngani la emhlabeni wena. You are making your heart to be heavier every day, every minute. And it's so easy to think positively. Anything efikayo negative, you just change immediately. Ucabange something positive. Abanye abantu abelungu bathi no, ma meditator, how ucabange ibeach. And leyo ngiyaunderstand ngoba mina ngilani lokushina ngiyazi beach wena ndoda. Manje mawuzongitshela ukuthi I must imagine beach. I haven't been there. Ngibona nje TV le beach. Manje wena uthi ngiyilenduze manje ngiyimagine. So yingakho ukuthi ingane yabona ingane mayifundisa something make sure ukuthi understand into before ihambe yona seyo implementa somewhere. Ngoba manje uzomfundisa la athathe lokho okuncane sekeyo implementa kanti implement izinto wrong. Not knowing and understanding the functioning of the conscious and the subconscious mind, because this is what rules us la emhlabeni, the conscious and the subconscious. Remember, the subconscious doesn't question. It takes everything that you tell it. Hey, ayikubuzi ukuthi manje why ukhuluma kanje ne? Uthi negative, oh yeah. Hey, then it gets imprinted in your subconscious mind. That is why uthola ukuthi all the negativity will follow you. Yonke into othi uyayizama yala because of your mind. So umqondo, the mind, njengoba ngisho, is connected to the causal plane. Causal plane yiyo le yabomveli nqane. Nabo Nuti, nabo Sekhmet, nabo Jehuti. That's the causal plane. Those 42 principles that are responsible for creation. Okoko bethu we scientists. I mean, siyaykhafula manje. We know exactly what constitutes nature. 42 principles which are linked to the 42 chakras in your body, your system. So niyabona ukuthi lento siyenza ine benefit. We are now approaching nature wisely. Awusangeni ku nature nje. It's up to you. Especially masowazi. Ngoba masowazi, you need to then implement knowledge without the application. It's useless. Ungayithola ufunde all 1,000 books, whatever, but without the application, that knowledge is useless. So in whatever way, we need to make sure that we do implement. Thokozani Mkhulu. Namhlanje kuseni ngithi in physicality, the winds of change are here because the storm that was around Moya, the wind, it was so strong. Ngasho ukuthi uSekhmet uyavuma buka manje thulile, naye sekuwomanyana. So it was a demonstration ukuthi siyanizwa ukuthi, and uyazi these days amaphupho are so clear. And ngikhuluma nalama principles directly. The recent one, the discussion with this principle, babuza ukuthi kungani uzwa umoya uthi there are so many people kulabantu enikhuluma nabo who are professional, baceleni to volunteer their services ukuze kube ne growth. Once professionalism is compromised, then growth kuba nzima. umoya uthi announce Mlaphikazi kuthiwa mele si announce all the time ebantwini ukuthi whoever ofuna ukuvolunteera ngama skills akhe they are welcome. Hey, kuthiwa we shouldn't be struggling like this because amongst us kunama professionals, not only abantu abala physically but abantu who are watching all over. You know, they would like to contribute. Abanye abantu bayasaba, I don't know for what reason. Abantu bafuna ukucelwa. So yinto komoya othi siyenze leyo so that wonke umuntu abe nethuba, because uma uvolunteera uphilisa umoya wakho. Umoya wakho gave you the talent and the ability to do whatever you are doing. So manje umoya wako uti contributor nawe in the movement to see the movement grow. Hale talent lakho.